afternoon. Thank you so much. Let me not stand between a very, very engrossing session. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and being here.
So yes, the most important thing in anyone's life today is application of knowledge. See, knowledge is available. Information you can get. Click of a button, Google will tell you. In fact, it's a scary situation. All of us today have the same information. How do you differentiate yourself? How do you differentiate? And if you can't differentiate, then how do you stand out of the crowd? The way you can differentiate yourself is how you use that information. So application is extremely important today. At this learning session today, we will use application and experiential pedagogy of music, of various movie clips, both from Bollywood as well as Hollywood, stories and case studies. Case studies from various industries. We will figure out how different industries look at similar kind of a management problem in their own way, and thereby they create their own management style, leadership style and culture. So if you ask me what is management, I will say that management is actually applying scientific approaches to engineer a better life for one and all. That is what management is all about. And today we are going to experience that. And there will be, of course, a wisdom of all, because I intend to get involved with discussions with all of you. So we will all share our common knowledge, and whatever we will learn over the next 3.5 to 4 hours, there will be a live case which we will apply that knowledge, and we will see what are the outcomes. So a leader influences others by creating an inspiring vision of the future. That vision needs to be clear, it needs to be achievable, and it needs to be persuasive. We need to be innovative, we need to be creative, but at the same time, if we do not find time to develop people around us, then we are not leading but we are following. Leadership is a mindset, ladies and gentlemen. It's a way of being. Let me give you a corporate story which will sum up all this. We have got 3 characters here. One is Steve Jobs, who is the CEO of Apple. Second is Jeff Williams. He was the COO of Apple the time when they launched the iPhone. And the third is Wendell Weeks, who was the CEO of Corning, which was one of the largest glass manufacturers in the world. See, as a leader, you need to collaborate. And collaboration depends upon trust. That is the hallmark of any collaborative team. Unless you have trust in your team members, you can never collaborate. And the element which gives you trust, when you are talking trust, you are talking trust of ethics, you are talking trust of integrity, and you are talking trust of competence. These are the 3 areas where you need to trust your team members, and the way you develop that trust is transparency. You need to be transparent to your team members because you are a human being. You cannot know everything. The second element is we need to create psychological safety for our team. And I was actually, remembering the slide when your managing director was talking about SBI, that only 10% of SBI, people are working. Now, have I given psychological safety to my team members for them to stand up and air their opinions without a fear that if they are giving a diverse viewpoint, right, they will be stamped as somebody who is incompetent or ignorant or cynical or negative? You have to create the climate in your team. Because unless psychological safety is there, you will not get diverse viewpoints. And if diverse viewpoints don't come, innovation will never happen. These concepts, collaboration, trust, psychological safety and transparency, we will now quickly go through 2 case studies. We will talk about 2 teams, and for this we will travel from Bombay to space. We will go to NASA. NASA had 2 teams. One was the Tiger team who was managing the Apollo 13 mission. What happened was Apollo 13 went to space, met with an accident. And this particular team of diversified professionals were entrusted with the duty of getting the 3 astronauts back to Earth. The second team was the Columbia mission team. They had the same objective, but this time it was 7 astronauts.
Columbia, this is Houston. Please respond.
Flight, there's
Still no response from Columbia.
copy.
Leroy Kane's mind flashes back to the foam impact. He knows the unthinkable has happened. That NASA has made mistakes that have cost lives. At 9 a.m., the Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrated.
So this was the story about Columbia. Now can you reflect on the 2 teams? One was the Tiger team, which was handling Apollo 13. Second was the debris assessment team, which was handling Columbia. What do you think was the difference in team management, and what insights can we get from here? But radical innovators, they look at this space between either and or. That space gives you a huge opportunity to launch a new product or a new process or a new business model. So it's very, very important to look at that space, which is between either and or. And I'll give you an example, live example of that. See, Dainik Bhaskar is a newspaper which is the largest newspaper of this country by circulation. So, innovation doesn't happen in vacuum. You need to create a culture of innovation. And how you create the culture of innovation? See, a lot of things work today. But then there has to be a theory of purposeful abandonment. Businesses which are working today, still making money, or processes which are working today, right? Or products which are working today. If I get something which is better, which is cheaper, which is more efficient, I need to abandon my existing stuff and go ahead. That is theory of purposeful abandonment. And earlier, when we started our life, we had that mantra: if it ain't broken, don't fix it. But today the mantra is different. Today the mantra is that if it is not broken, ensure that you break it. Because if you don't break, somebody else will come and break it. Somebody else will come and break it for you. So therefore, one thing I can guarantee you today, that your organization or you will change. You will change in 6 months or 12 months or 18 months. Change is the only constant, somebody said some time back. But the question is not that. The question is whether that change will be opportunity-led or crisis-driven. So he believed that if you don't cannibalize yourself, somebody else will. So don't protect your products, protect your customer. You protect your customer experience and customer relationships, you will survive in the marketplace. So you not only look at yesterday's innovation and change them, right? You sometimes cannibalize your own products if you find a better option and an alternative. And that is very, very crucial.
So today, the need of the hour is to be learning leaders. And learning leaders now need to look at something called learning agility. So what is the need of the hour is to create performance agility. So what is agile? The way I look at agile is that I don't look at it as a word, I look at it as an acronym. So agile stands for a leader who can anticipate change, who can generate confidence amongst his team members, amongst peers, amongst seniors, amongst investors, somebody who is not only a strategizer, but he initiates actions. Someone who is a liberal thinker, who can think out of the box, right? And finally, somebody who can evaluate results, right? And who can change along with this. So I will do 2 case studies here, where you will see all these coming in, and then we will see what we can learn from here. The first is a small business. This is in Australia. It was a restaurant, and in COVID-19, this restaurant was given 12 hours to shut down. And see what happened here. Adversity always brings new opportunities. That is what adversity quotient is all about. As I was saying that we know intelligence quotient, IQ, we know social quotient, EQ, emotional quotient. Adversity quotient is transforming obstacles into opportunities. And this is what today's leaders need to look at, and that is where agility comes in. So here I will give you a story of a company with an iconic brand which made the best of the worst of times. This is the story of Nestle and their iconic brand Maggi. If you look at any big business or brand, one distinguishing factor which drives the way the brand is presented, the brand is consumed, and the way after sales service is managed is the word attitude. And big brands have this attitude which keeps them in good stead, is winners never quit. So this is the story of a brand and a company which stayed its course. I will give you another example, and for that we will travel to US. Similar situation happened. This was September 29th, 1982. This is what happened. This is Johnson & Johnson.
The Tylenol crisis of 1982.
Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. A bizarre and terrifying story today in the Chicago suburbs of Arlington Heights and Elk Grove Village. A 12-year-old girl and 2 men who were brothers are dead after taking poison capsules of extra-strength Tylenol.
On September 29, 1982, 7 people in the Chicago area ingested poison Tylenol pills, consequently collapsing and dying shortly after. The victims included 12-year-old Mary Kellerman, 27-year-old Mary Reiner, 31-year-old Mary McFarland, 35-year-old Paula Prince, 27-year-old Adam Janus, 25-year-old Stanley Janus, and 19-year-old Teresa Janus. The last 3 were unfortunately all from the same family.
I would request you to apply whatever you have learned today to try and solve the case. Let me read out the case to you. Allied General Insurance Company, AGICL, one of the topmost general insurance company, has entered into a bank assurance relationship with Global Syndicate Bank, GSB. It is a prized relationship for AGICL. Why? Because GSB contributes over 60% of AGICL's retail premium.